So here's how the SKS rifle works. This is the bolt carrier, and here's the bolt. Firing pin goes right through it. Here's the chamber where the cartridge sits. You see kind of where the shell is. The barrel, and there's a rear sight block. So recoil spring down here. So you pull the trigger, hammer gets released, smashes into the firing pin, sets off the primer, sends the bullet down the barrel, and the gas starts expanding. Now, bullet keeps going. The gas keeps expanding and pushing it. The bolt here provides a good backstop right now for the cartridge, for the shell casing. We don't want this to open too early. How this works is because this bolt here, it tips up and down, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. Right now it's locked in place because the bolt carrier here is holding it downwards. It's holding it downwards against this little lip here in the receiver itself. This way the bolt cannot move backwards, no matter while the gases are expanding and pressing backwards and forwards. So the bolt is not moving. The bullet keeps going down. The gas keeps following to about here. At this point, there's a little hole drilled in the barrel here into this rectangular shaped component. This redirects some of the gas upwards, so presses against this piston. This piston gets moved backwards toward the butt of the rifle. It's actually a second piston that goes through the rear sight block. So this piston pushes the second piston backwards as well. This piston, in turn, pushes the bolt carrier backwards, like this. Now this game did not do a perfect job here, but what happens is now, as the bolt carrier gets moved back, you see, this stops providing this downward force to keep the bolt in place in this lock position. The bolt rises up as these lugs engage these lugs. As the bolt carrier moves back, it pulls the bolt upwards, it scoops it up, pulls it upwards, so it's no longer engaged by this little protrusion. And it's no longer locked. By this time, the bullet should have already left the barrel. The gases have pushed it out, and the pressure in the barrel has now become safe to open the breech up. If we open it up too early, before the bullet has left the barrel, a lot of the gas will want to escape through here, through the breech, and create some very possibly dangerous results. So now, since the bolt is no longer locked, the bolt carrier has scooped it up and pulls it backwards. The extractor here pulls the shell casing out. The bolt keeps going back, compressing the recoil spring. Recocks the hammer. Shell casing gets kicked out by the ejector. Now there's a second spring inside the rear sight block that shoves the second piston back to its original position toward the front. Second piston that also pushes the first piston toward the front to its original position as well. Bolt carrier cycles with the bolt, scoops up another round from the magazine, shoves it down the chamber, And now, as it comes back to its original position, the bolt carrier keeps pushing it. Keeps pushing forward. And now, these lugs, the ones that scooped up the bolt, disengage. This slant here pushes the bolt back down into its lock position. And the bolt carrier now pushes the bolt back into its lock position, keeps it there. And thus, the rifle is ready to be fired again.